Hello and welcome. Here we are, in my view, kind of exiting or beginning to exit this bridge that shows up a little bit like a stretchy tube between February and March. So yesterday was, of course, the 29th. I didn't check this out in the, what is it called? In the Mayan calendar, but it very much felt like the day out of time. It felt like the stretched container between February and March, and it really showed up to me as a bit of a hello, 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 look at all of this. It was like an introduction to the feelings, the experiences, the emotions, the movement, the growth, the provocation, the illumination that's going to come in March. And March is going to be rather, I think, incredible. It's going to bring us a lot of opportunity, I believe, to be strengthening perhaps our alliances, our groupings, our friends, family, community. A lot of that is going to be strengthened during March. But yes, it really, yesterday, showed up like that, and it showed up to me as though, and so, hi Charlotte. So let me know if you had this kind of experience. I had the most sort of significant, really. I think that it would be fair to say significant time glitch, as in it was as though I was here, and then next minute I was here, as though I had lost an entire block of time of several hours, and I really didn't feel like I'd like I'd gone anywhere or done anything, or even got, even sort of got to a place where I was lost in that experience or that moment. It was like I just jumped from one space to the other. And so I just think that, this glitchiness is starting to show up in our physical reality. And so it's just going to be interesting, and I want to suggest that we just cruise with it. We just share our experiences, because the other aspect that this is my belief. It may not be yours, and it doesn't matter, but I'll just share this. I believe that we are in this experience where we may each be having different experiences at different times or in different orders. And my understanding is that there is deliberate and perfection in the purpose of that, because in a way, those of you who are, well awakened and in working with higher consciousness, imagine if all of you were experiencing the same kind of interruption or eruption or explosion or expansion into the same experience at the same time. It's a bit like having all of the light workers, if you like, on duty, and then all of a sudden they've all gone offline. So just be mindful and aware of that, is that, I believe we're going through these experiences at different times in different orders, and neither is better than the other. And let's be mindful and even wary, as in WARY, that we don't create exclusivity in what is happening for us, because it also is that we came to hold different positions, to have different experiences, and it's not necessarily based on the expansion of your soul in its essence. So, it may be that people who have chosen to come here and have an experience of homelessness, for example, they could be very advanced souls. and they're wanting to have that very challenging experience, which doesn't mean that we don't help, but it's just be, I feel I am telling you this not for your benefit. I feel I'm telling you this so that you can just gently remind the people who are awakening now to be in that position. So it's sort of another analogy that showed up to me today was that we've been in this place of, if you think about an electrical circuitry, and I'm not an electrician, but an electrical circuitry where the plastic, those plastic joiners that hold the wires and then they're crimped, so creating a circuit and wiring a house, for example, that it's like within us, we have a series of wires, a series of conduits, and that the connectors might have all been taken out for a little while over the last couple of days as we've sort of come up into this renewal. Hello, Jen. Hello, Leah. Hello, Carla. Feeling electric with a bit of a headache. Oh, yes. Okay. So hopefully you can. I want to tell you that in my life, I've had huge headaches. Like I used to, when I was a teacher, I nearly would have a migraine every Sunday. And I never learned how to get rid of it. And I definitely took drugs and nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked for me unless I could get myself to vomit, and that I wasn't very successful at that. But what I have learned since then is that I used to have this idea that I could like move it out and up. But what I've learned is to move it down, Carla, and into the ground. So whether that's true for you or not, it's that I just, like it's closer, isn't it? We should just be able to exit it from here, but it seems to me that we have to exit it down through the body and out through the feet. So that's like, getting your belly button on the earth even can be a bit of a quick circuit for that, but move it down, breathe it out through the feet. Talofa, Caroline. Hello, Amanda. Throat blocked. Yes, you aren't alone with that. So there's a lot of, it's really, in all of the, let's say, in each of the chakras, people may be having an experience at the moment because it's a little bit like, well, we've had our circuitry upgraded to level 3 or level 4, and now we're having an upgrade to level 5 or level 6 or higher, but the numbers aren't really important. It's like each of us are having a rebuild, a new circuitry placed in. So there's that happening. So that's happening on one kind of level, and that's to do with, I believe, this electrical conductivity, which in one way we could say is the masculine energy. Anyway, there's so much crossover, isn't there? But then there is this the throat. So the lower chakras, we've done a lot of work on the lower chakras, but yesterday for me was a big clear out time. I ate just in a block of time as well. I ate an amount of food, and that was ridiculous. It was good. It was healthy. But it was a lot. And I noticed during it, I'm like, what? I feel like I'm just on this continuous kind of eating binge. And I didn't feel full. And then I thought, there's likely to be, I don't know the answer to this, but this was my observation, and I haven't got to the bottom of it. But I was like, this is like I'm not connected up to this aspect of myself that can give me the signal to say you are full. And I just kept eating. So I ate an entire punnet of blueberries, and I had the equivalent of like 4 big scoops of vegan ice cream, and that was just dessert. And I had this giant salad. I had this giant salad with a piece of smoked salmon, and so I had all sorts of things and all sorts of greens and microgreens, and I had olives and um, what else did I have in there? Oh, tomatoes and avocado and cucumber and I don't know what else, quite a few, whatever was in the fridge. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if any of you are having that experience, but there's a lot in the main. We are in this place where we might be having refinement through all of the chakras, and yet we're probably at this kind of heart, higher heart, throat, and yet still expansion through the crown, so a lot entering and exiting, the streaming in of the crown, but definitely we are perhaps noticing this movement from what's coming in the feminine side and what's coming in the masculine side. So the heart is having huge expansion, kind of like an awareness, a physical, like a physical yawning, awareness, opening, expansion. And then the throat. So the throat is, I want to say, related to huge ancestral clearing of you and your soul back through time. So all of the times where you either couldn't speak out because you couldn't, there was absolutely no way that you could, or all of the times where you wanted to speak out and you couldn't because you didn't have the capacity, the wherewithal, the strength, the courage, and then all of the times that you now need to speak out, to own your voice, to claim your voice. Because it's often also, it's not about, I want to say, which will be, it's for some people it will be irritating to hear this, but it's always to me about speaking it. It's not about whether anybody else hears it. It's always about you speaking it. So speaking it out to yourself out loud is powerful. And so this clearing up, this clearing of the throat, this, all of the times that many of us have been hung, have had our throats slit, all of that coming up to be recognized, released in the cellular. But a lot of us have done a lot of clearing of that, right? And so just don't get caught up with, oh my God, I've already done that. I've been doing that for years, because we have. But go to the, well, we are in the finessing of the clearing of, let's say, 2,000 years. It's more than that, but that's a number we can deal with. 2,000 years of who we've been here on the earth. And we're clearing it out because we are coming into our alignment, our balance, our empowerment, because we are about to step into our new roles, our new expanded version of self as we rebirth ourselves through this time. And many of you, like me, will have had lots of birthing experiences, and different ones, at times feeling pregnant, at times having birthing pains, at times just in the knowing of it. And this is humanity rebirthing itself. And this is us holding space for that, for ourselves and for others. And it can come with pains. So there have definitely been times when I've had birthing pains and birthing pangs and felt my pelvis even softening and opening up, and felt cramps in my belly, and more tender in the breast, and baby brain. Well, baby brain is a pretty massive feature at the moment, because we've been having upgrades in our parasympathetic, in our nervous system, and in our neural pathways. And it's a good thing. It's just an adjustment. It's just all this adjustment, all the refining of that. So I'll just say hello to other people here. Carla, I don't know whether I'm useless. I try and stay so present, and yet I can't remember whether I say hello to people or not. Wild day for Jen. Almost like the out picture becoming unanchored, and wackiness ensued. Super buzzy too. Yeah, I had, I did go looking for an image and then I lost track, but I was looking for like an abstract image where it was as though a section of the image dropped out. So think of an abstract image like from the cubist era, where lots of triangles and cubes overlaying one another in colours and things like that. And it was, so that's how I was showing it. It was like that, all in colours, and then there was a segment in the middle that was just a shade of grey, and it was like it had dropped out, and that was the imagery I got given when I started sort of asking about that, asking about this time glitch. That's how it kind of showed up. And hello, Amanda. Yes, hello. So yes, so Carla, get your feet on the ground, get your bare belly on the ground if you can. And Amanda, breathe blue light into your throat. Gargling even with a bit of salt water can help. Hello, Mandy. Was delicious, Fiona. It was just so much, though. I just ate so much. And then my body was making all sorts of rumblings, and as though it was filled with air pockets. And then I spent an hour in and out of the bathroom. Eating huge salads. Notice it while eating, but just keep eating. Oh, I'm not the only one then. Oh, that's interesting. Charlotte's saying the last 2 days she's eaten at least 4 times a day and usually is twice a day. I know what you mean. My salmon pile has diminished somewhat. Mine has ended. No, not quite. I think I've got one but left. Aloha, sweet Cece. And Mandy, this is all resonating. Always been useless with names. Oh, I'm good with names, but I just don't remember whether I've said the name or not in this kind of moment. Yeah, so we're definitely in this kind of experience of this dimensional shift, and it was so interesting. I wanted to talk to you about this imagery I saw this morning. So I had a pretty slow start to the day. Like many of you, my sleep's all over the place. I have no sleep, and then I sleep for 2 hours, and I wake up and I'm a box of birds, and then I'm like, oh, I only slept for 2 hours, and then I have the occasional time where I sleep for a long time, and it's just to not get disturbed by it, in the mind. You just stay with the experience of it, and it's always perfect. To me it is anyway. To me it's always perfect. It's never when I've got a busy like scheduled day. It's always when there's space for it. And like this week, for example, my personal trainer cancelled because she's dealing with an injury. And so that's like given me permission to not have to get up. So I don't go to a gym. I go to her house, and in summer we train outside and under the pūrere tree, and in winter in one of the rooms in her house. So it's just me and her, and that really suits me, because I don't like that that goes on in the music in the gym. That whole so I'm walking into a bucket of testosterone. So that's, I've had this extra cruisy week, even though I've been for a couple of big walks. I've not had to get out of bed so early to do some things before I get to the gym. So, Belinda, major time glitches for me this week, more than I've ever experienced before. Right, yeah. So I guess we'll get to the bottom of it. I will ask. I thought that I would have got to asking that for today. Anyway, this whole thing with the divine masculine, I need to tell you about that. And then I've got notes about the moving into March energies, which I wrote yesterday. So yeah, the divine masculine. So it was this moment this morning where I don't remember, where I was at in conversation. I think I was in a conversation with somebody online, and all of a sudden I just had this image. So you might have seen the post that I wrote about the divine masculine, but let me paint a better picture for you than that. So if you imagine that you are in a very big theatre and you're positioned like up above. So in the, let's say in the, um, oh, I don't know what that's called, the upper gallery. You're in the upper gallery and you're looking down on a 45-degree angle on this big stage, and there's a musical production going on. And on this big stage are all of these cages that are representing a jail cell, a prison cell, and there's lots of them, and they're not linked at all, they're separate. And inside each of those cages is a masculine in top hat and tails, and this is this musical. So thank you, Fiona. Leap year and a day out of time. So that's what I was going to start to say, to ask whether it was the case. I hadn't checked. So it was. Okay, wonderful. So is that whenever we also have Doots day out of time when it's not a leap year? I feel to say that's the case. Anyway, thank you. So back to this stage. So imagine sitting up in the, the upper level of the theatre, looking down on this stage where there are all of these cages that are like prison cells. So in a musical, they are representing prison cells. It's black bars, there's four walls, and there's a door. And the masculine are in there, and they're making these very dramatic gestures to the music. And the music that I was hearing was there's no business like show business. And when I went to look up the lyrics, I thought, that is interesting, because it's, the idea that it's a facade, and there's, things that are hidden, and what is it? Everything about it is appealing. No, I closed it. You can go and look it up. But that was the music that I was hearing. And so the masculines were hands here in one part. So this was representing that they were in their thinking. And then they had their hands raised up here like this. And this was the epiphany. And then so there were sort of dance movements. They were all in sync. And then to the door of the jail, of the cage on the stage, and then they opened the door. And so that was the very quick image that I saw. But I really got that it was all about them having this epiphany, that they had recognized that they'd been in their heads, and that they had, were having these thoughts of, life can be better than this. I don't need to stay in the cage. I can let myself out. Oh my goodness. I have caged myself. And let me see what I wrote. Yes, so this discovery. Here we are. Their own. Let me check this. Right, their own self-imposed imprisonment, so they were in realization of that, related to the series of thoughts and programs and conditions that have imprisoned them in the lower and mundane. It's like they suddenly realized that life could be different, bigger, brighter, more exciting, more expansive. And they've recognized that nothing now is out of reach or beyond them, including this higher love, which I want to say that they had sat with this idea that it was fanciful, that it was out of their reach, that it wasn't real. Yeah, the impossible dream. And so, That's another musical song, isn't it? To dream the impossible dream. I must look up the lyrics for that. So until now, they have seen this higher way of being in themselves as unreal, as intangible, as unreachable. And so they have realized that whilst they've been moving in the stream of the status quo, of the what has been sort of pitched as the norm, that there's no need for them to continue with this, that the prison door wasn't locked, just shut, and that all they had to do was recognize that they had imprisoned themselves to find the door and then to open it. And then what comes next, which was very clearly given to me, I can't remember how even though it was only this morning, I can't remember how this part came. I think more of a download, really. It came as a block of information that they really hadn't recognized their own self-worth. And so this is the place that they have reached now, where they're seeing their own self-worth and they're able to acknowledge it and step into it. It enables them to see the higher, to see that they are worthy. And so this has been one of the aspects that the divine masculine have lacked, is this higher self-worth, this not seeing their own value. And so this is here now. So that feels significant to me. Oh, yes, Fiona, that's right. That it was that yesterday. But yeah, that's the same for me. Honestly, the number of times in the day, I have to check what day it is and what time it is. Alrighty. So let me see if there's anything here. Right, no, that's it for the divine masculine. Okay, so now I'll get to my notes that I wrote yesterday. So I saw this bridge, this tube yesterday on the 29th of the 2nd, and what I got around it was that we are moving into March energy. So this was yesterday. As the old reality lifts and the karmic looping finishes, where we will explore the balance of that and the authenticity and alignment and exit the old in relationships with self. And it's interesting, with self, with source, and with others is what came through. So this sort of realignment in all of those ways. But first, one must check the health of relationship with self. So, that's something for us to do over these next few days. And we'll do a little exercise with it today if you want to hang around for that. So I want to say to you, this is our opportunity to do a health check with self, a health check for your relationship with yourself. And these keywords, it's quite phenomenal, I want to say. Let me just put that on silence. So all of these words link into the energies of March. Sacred union, sacred relationship, truth, clarity, authenticity, freedom, passion, joy, balance, clearing the old ways out, purifying any of the toxicity in relationship, actually, not so much sort of in well, it might be, but that's the focus, any toxicity that shows up in relationship. Yeah, and this came some last reviews as we farewell February. Making a right relationship with self. So that's the thing to do first, if you like. So how to, that was what came, and this is what I wrote. So reflect on this as I'm reading it. Observe the thoughts, words, and stories and actions that you make, say, and do. So you might speak those out loud, you might be running them in your mind. And check where you might be undermining yourself with criticisms. So where is it that you criticize yourself? Where is it that you are on your way in your day and find yourself running phrases, statements in your head that are criticizing? So anything where you're undermining yourself with criticisms, with doubts, with feelings of lack. So I would just give you a moment here to jot that down. Just think about what are the criticisms that you say to yourself. Criticisms, doubt, feelings of lack. Oh, thank you, sweet Cece. The galactic day out of time each year is July the 25th. So this leap year is extra and different from that galactic new year. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, so what is it that you say? I find the thing that I find myself saying is, oh, I don't know. And then I think, oh, actually, I might. So I definitely don't say it so often, but I still hear myself saying that to myself out loud. So just jot any of those down. So if you are using also this language with others, just check where you are actually saying it also to yourself, or where it relates to the way that you are viewing and communicating with yourself. And just to be observant about it over this next few weeks. Be vigilant with your self-talk. And many of you, like me, will have been working with that. But I feel that we're in this finer attunement, refinement. Be observant and be vigilant and get into the pattern of when you say it or have that thought, to stop, to pause, and to reframe it, to restate it so that it becomes a query rather than a criticism, where it becomes a question to self that you can then answer in a way that's supportive. So rephrase and restate so that what comes out of your mind and out of your mouth aligns with your highest self and the way of speaking that's empowering and loving. And this, I think this is a nice analogy. This is what came. Thoughts that are not of this are akin to wearing muddy boots into someone's house and putting mud on the carpet. Or into your own house, actually. And then this is another question that I'm asking you. What do you need to feel worthy? I'll just give you a moment to write that down. What do you need to feel worthy? What do you need to feel empowered? And what do you need to feel sovereign? So intact within your own system, in charge of your own being and way of operating. You might have a different version of sovereignty. What do you need or need to do or be to be in abundant flow? Where do you need to reset boundaries? Where do you overgive? Where do you not put yourself first? So I want to say that all of these questions that I'm asking you are part of an opportunity for you to do a little self-review of where you have changed, where you need to change, where you want to change. How do you serve others? Hot and humid here again. How do you serve others in your house or home or space where you live? How do you serve others in your family? How do you serve others in your community? How do you serve your friends? There's likely to be a lot of crossover with that. But the points of difference might be meaningful as well. What is truly important to you? I am going to ask you this question in a way, it's old paradigm as a question, as a desire, but I feel it might provoke some interesting words for you. Or you might disagree with me anyway, but that's kind of my sentiment about it. What do you wish to be remembered or known for? Hi, Fun Squirrel. And then this is referencing So, you might think that that sort of sits over here, and then this is referencing what is to come. And how I'm describing this to you is a growing feeling. So it's like it might just be sitting there. You might not have formulated this yet, but this is hopefully going to assist you with what comes next. Oh, and yes, Fun Squirrel, I forgot to mention that. Thank you so much. Lots of tears, hey. Lots and lots and lots of tears. We yeah. You know what? It's so funny how this musical stuff is coming to me. I'm not really a musical fan. I've been to a few musicals because Mum loves them, but um, Cry Me a River. That's a song that just came then when I read that. But yeah, it's like we are crying it all out. We're releasing it all through the tears. We're so strongly in this river of consciousness, the waters of consciousness, showing up through all of the elements. But definitely we're in this big flow through our bodies, this great wash. That's how it shows up to me, this flow of water, the waters of consciousness, but coming with also the release of everything that doesn't serve us. And I want to say that in many ways it has served us. What we've stashed away has been part of our understanding, our process of release, and it's also helped us to understand more of who we are and what we have created for ourselves and the situations that we've put ourselves in and how we can kind of undo those. So what is a growing feeling within you related to service? So, we just did that little group of questions. So I'll read it again. So what is a growing feeling within you related to service, to family, community, humanity, and earth? You might want to write those down, and I'll give you a moment to write some keywords beside them. Family, community, humanity, earth. What is a growing feeling within related to service, to family, community, humanity, and earth? And I want to tell you that greater clarity, so receive this as a message to yourself, that greater clarity and information will come. Be in the knowing of that. Greater clarity and information will come. So the physical body is in huge transmutation, transmigration. We're moving, we're changing our structure within this form, as well as becoming more of our light body. A lot of people, I want to tell you, have been either gaining weight or losing weight. And I could be wrong, but I want to suggest that it's a pretty temporary measure. It's just what's happening is our body in the physical is kind of managing itself in these huge fluctuations and change. So now I want you to tune to your body, attune to your own body, like your physical body, and just notice where there might be any tension or stress being held. If there's anything currently worrying you, write that down. And if there are any fears currently. And I want you to invite your body in this moment, and we're going to do a breath together, to let go of any aspects of lack. So take a breath in through the nose. And on the out breath, just letting go of any aspects of lack, inviting the body to release it now. Second breath in, blow it out again, releasing any aspects of lack. Could be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, social. Tune into any situations where you recognize that you go into being the victim. Just see if there's anything that comes up there. Or go back to the last time you had a situation where you felt like you were the victim. You felt like people were imposing upon you, and you went into maybe into feeling small, or maybe into poor me, or maybe into, oh, these things always happen to me. I get picked on, I get pushed, I get bullied. Go back to that. Jot that down. And so now we're going to do another couple of breaths, and I invite you to let go of any patterns on these breaths. Any patterns that don't serve you. So just instructing your mighty I am presence, your higher self, that we are releasing now. You can say I am releasing now any patterns that do not serve me, any patterns of lack and of victimhood, any notions that I sit with, these repetitive patterns where I am recognizing that I am the victim. I'm letting the energetic patterns of those go. So take a breath in. Right down into the belly, and then a breath out. Ishia na akana oata. Ishia oisha kana batakata sisi atoa nara na. Itia shishia nakana batakana oata. Ishia nara na atikana batakata shishia na. Aho, aho, aho. Take a breath. And if you've got some water, just have a couple of sips of that water now. So I want to tell you, and you are welcome to repeat, I am open to, and then repeat this. So I'll say it once, and then I'll say it a second time. I am open to stronger linkings and connections showing up and being evident in my life. So I am open to stronger linkings and connections beginning to show up and be evident in my life. I am open to receiving the gifts that continue to expand and up-level me. I'm open to receiving the gifts that continue to expand and up-level me. And this is an I am stepping into. I am stepping into higher vibration, which brings greater joy, greater peace, a deeper self-knowing and trust. I am stepping into a higher vibration, which brings more joy, greater peace, deeper self-knowing and trust. I am continually feeling an increased sense of freedom. I am getting better at being in flow. I'm getting better at being in flow. I am better at being present. I am better at being present in the now, in the eternal, infinite moment of now. So I might say that as a whole statement so that you can repeat it. I am better at being present and in the now, in the eternal, infinite moment of now. And so just hold your water glass and just in your voice, in your space, just invite the water to receive the vibration of everything you've just spoken into the air, to receive that vibration, that frequency, the improved version of you, the release and the receipt. And I will have been receiving all the vibration of that during the call, and cheers. So I have got, I'm not kidding, I've got an A4 page of a list of videos that I want to do, and I will endeavour to get to them. But one of the things that I want to, I am going to do a video about extreme self-care. That is something that's really, to me, feels urgent for us all at the moment. It's like there's nothing more important than you looking after you and your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being, because we're in this huge change, and we're the space holders for this change. Not just you and me, but those of us who are in this huge awakening, this huge awareness, this up-leveling of consciousness. We are those holding hands around the world people. All of the light workers in our world, to me, you could see light worker as I do anyway, I see it as the overarching umbrella concept for all of the other words that people use. But our job right now is to be able to hold space for this opening, this awareness, this awakening of humanity, this unfolding, this ascension. We're in the ascension energies. It's not, I don't believe, you do what you feel right, but I don't believe that it's my job to awaken anybody, even though I know that happens as and that's an outcome when, for some people who meet me, for some people who come to me, for some people who I incidentally come across. So you can know that your energy field. Oh, if you didn't watch, I posted it on my Facebook page. This really brilliant, I think it's just 3 minutes long video on the torus, the toroidal field. So you can know that your field, when you are humming, when you are in alignment, when you are in your balance, when you're in your flow, your toroidal field takes up a big space. It impacts on everybody around you. When divine counterparts come together, Gaia has said to me that that will be like X plus X times 100. It will be exponential when these counterparts come together. But still, on your own, you are holding this field, you're holding this space for humanity, for the planet to awaken. The light we hold, we connect up with one another around the planet. That's why we are so spread as well. There's so many components to it. But I remember a woman saying to me ages ago, "Wouldn't it be so lovely if we all lived in a community together?" And I said, "Oh yeah, wouldn't it? It would be so amazing." But it's not the purpose. The purpose is that each of us is. I think I might have done some kind of mini video about it, I don't know, years ago, about are you a blue dot? Because that's how Gaia showed me. Because I can strangely go off planet and be looking at the Earth, and that's what I saw. I saw that everybody was a blue dot, and blue dots are spread around the planet because we are essentially holding hands. All of the blue dots are holding hands, and this is how we are impacting the collective awakening. So it's not that we don't have an impact on it, but I want to say, if you have been in, and I'm guilty of this, but if you've ever been in the practice of, they need to wake up. Those people, they need to wake up. Well, a lot of you will have probably, or those people who did that will have expended a lot of energy in worrying about that and trying to sort of hurry it along, zhuzh it up, and deliberately, intentionally kind of provoke people to awaken. But I don't believe that we do that. We kind of do it incidentally by holding our light, by being a mirror, by being a reflection, by holding this expanded light, by holding this knowing, by becoming in this knowing. It impacts into the collective consciousness. But there's a lot of mass awakening going on at the moment. And so there will be a lot of people around you on a wobble, maybe reaching out. And if they do, that's the other thing. Sorry, I don't particularly like Neil Diamond. If you are a Neil Diamond lover, but I can't even believe that some of these songs are coming to me and that I know who's sang them. But reaching out, touching you, is that the song that came? And I was really surprised. I could be wrong, but I feel it was a Neil Diamond song. This is kind of what's happening as well. So we're really in this massive. If you think about a fishbowl, and there's so much going on in the fishbowl. So there are new fish that have come into the tank. There's new growth that's come into the tank. There's a new oxygenation system. There's a new cleaning system that's gone on. Some of the fish are changing their diets. Some of the fish are growing bigger. Some of the fish are getting a bit bolshy about having to share their resources, and some of the fish are floating on the top. And so there's a lot going on. I do want to do a video about ascension and what that might look like, and how that might impact. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on for all of us. We don't have to know it all. So just be in your own alignment, knowing that just being your authentic self, doing whatever healing you need to do, coming into balance, coming into your bigger, higher, more magnificent self, that is the work. and that in doing that you are holding a stable field that can impact others. And yeah, just be aware that there's this notion that we'll be in chaos. You don't actually have to experience the chaos. You might observe it, but you don't have to experience it. And how you just be the observer is by being detached from it and be tuning into self. Be asking, does it serve me to go out now, or does it serve me to stay home now? Does it serve me to do that or not? There'll be times when you will be guided to stay out of what's going on outside of your own little environment. There'll be times when you go out, you'll be exuding this light, this frequency. It will impact others. So there's a lot going on, but we're to me, we're really in this kind of burgeoning, blossoming, the awakening of the masses of humanity in itself. So we've got this really massive flow of lights and codes that's affecting us, that's beginning to have us recognizing our knowledge, our wisdom, our gifts and our talents in the physical, showing up, and bringing us this sense of ease, this sense of freedom, this sense of acknowledgement and recognition of you in the higher, the sovereign being, the ability to rise up and look above it and hold space for what's going on. And this idea that there's so many ways now that ascension could be described, but we're in the mixing pot of ascension. We are arising. I believe that we are having more and more significant emissions from the sun that relates to our ability to hold the light. And so see that your ability to be stable in center and balance, having done the work, having done the clearing, having come into your higher vibration, being able to hold that space, and then the more of us who do that, the more that the tipping point can come. That's the signal to the sun. But I believe we're going to have a significant moment and that we're building to that. And I believe that we're going to have that significant moment or moments, before the end of April. I'm not sure exactly how that looks, but and today I had a couple of questions that I wanted to tune in deeply with Gaia, but time became elusive for me today, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I better do a live. Anyway, I wish you big hugs. I really do, and I have so much respect for you. It's huge what you are doing. It's huge what all of us are doing, and so I send you so much love from my heart and from the heart of Gaia, and just recognize your own magnificence and celebrate. So I put the post on Facebook, and I think on the channel, on the community page, about taking some time to rest over this weekend, to rest and recognize the beauty of your own transformation and give yourself some space to celebrate that. All right, much love to you all. And yeah, let me know if you've got any suggestions or questions that you'd like me to do a video about. But yeah, I do have a long list, and I will attempt to, I'll just plug away at getting them done. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. All right, everybody. Big hugs. Much love.